Hey friends, welcome to today's video. Today we are creating this look and I'm using a new palette by Anastasia Beverly Hills. This is the Norvina Volume 5 palette. This literally was delivered within the last 2 hours. I was not planning on filming this video today, but when it arrived, I was just so excited to get this palette. You know, there are a few palettes that I get this excited about, and it's kind of interesting because I normally don't buy very large palettes like this, just because there's a lot of shades in these palettes that I typically am not gonna wear. That's the case with this palette too. There's a lot of really bright, bold purples in here that are probably not gonna get a whole lot of use, but when it comes to color, even though I lean more neutral, my favorite colors to wear are pinks and purples. And I just thought that the color story of this palette is so beautiful. I love copper and purples together. I think they're really beautiful. I love the array of shimmers and foiled shadows and matte shadows that you get in this palette. I don't know what it was. When I saw this on Instagram, I was really excited to get it. So I had to film a video using it. So this look, I wanted to create something that has some color incorporated clearly, but it also is kind of more of an, how to incorporate color into more of a neutral kind of wearable look. So the details of this palette, you get 25 shadows, again, in a mix of mattes and foils and shimmers. It retails for $60. I purchased mine on Sephora's website and surprisingly it was in stock. I didn't know if this was going to be one of those palettes that sold out immediately, but I will always have the products listed in the description box, and I'll also have the shade names. So if you're following this tutorial, creating the look, I will have a guide in the description box so you can just kind of reference or screenshot that when you're creating this at home. All right, you guys, let's go ahead and get started. I have my eye primer on, I have the rest of my makeup on, so this video is predominantly going to be focused on the palette and creating a look using this palette. So first I'm going to go in and I'm going to build my transition shade. I kind of want to lean towards this one. This is the shade A4 right here. It is probably the lightest transition shade in the palette. And I'm gonna start here, but I am gonna build more color and depth. What I find about Anastasia Beverly Hills shadows, I feel like this is the case for everyone that I've tried, is that even the light colors like this one translate a little deeper on the skin than they do in the palette. Now I did set my eyes with the Trish McEvoy Eye Base Primer, and that eye primer specifically will really grab onto the shadow that you're using and intensify the color. So, I know that that is helping, but this color actually comes on a little more pink and purple than it looks in the palette. Let me show you guys one more time what it looks like in the palette. This is it. And then on the lid, it's quite a bit pinker, right? Okay, so this color definitely translates more purpley and pink on the skin than it looks in the palette. Not a bad thing, but definitely something to call out. Next, I'm gonna go in and I'm going to build a little bit more depth in the outer corner. I am gonna go in, I'm actually gonna go in with this shade right here, E2. This looks really, really beautiful. Look how pretty that looks. Let's check it out on the finger. So pretty. This is a purple plum, but it has a lot of pink to it. Oh, that's gorgeous. See, I can get on board with the purple and pink shadows. If you have green eyes, they're really gonna make your green eyes pop because purple is a complementary color to green. Any color with red in it. So, purple is red and blue mixed together. Pink is, red with white in it. So those shades are really gonna make the green in your eyes pop. When you put complementary colors next to each other, like we're doing, they make each other pop. If you layer complementary colors on top of each other, they basically neutralize. So if I were to take a green shadow and put it right over this, it would create more of a brown shade. Isn't that interesting? Okay, next we're gonna go in, what are we gonna do next? Let's see. Okay, I'm gonna take the shade E4 right here, and I'm gonna layer that onto the lid, like right here in the outer part of the lid. I'm gonna use the same 202 brush for this. These shades are really beautiful. They're very pigmented. They're very like creamy matte, meaning that they're consistent. They don't skip, or they're not like, you lay it down and you get pretty nice payoff, really opaque payoff. Oh, that color is so beautiful. Oh my gosh, I love that color. Okay, next I'm gonna go in and I'm going to grab a little bit more of that E2 shade right here, the last one we did, and we're gonna layer a little bit more out here to kind of help blend that last shade we just put down. My favorite kind of combo is a purple and bronze or copper colors combined. I think they're just so beautiful. Okay, so next I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna take this shade right here, C4. It's a really shimmery copper shade, and I'm gonna apply that onto the lid. And we'll just go ahead and use my finger since I have it loaded with product. I'm gonna apply it right there on the inner corner. Okay, I'm gonna go in with a brush now. So I am just keeping that right in the inner corner. I'm trying not to bring it too far over to cover or muddy up that matte shade that I have. I really just want the two to kind of meet, and I really want to pack this on. Orange is also a very pretty complementary color to green eyes because orange is red and yellow combined. Oh, that's so pretty. Okay, now I'm gonna wipe my brush off. I'm gonna go back in with that shade E4, which is that matte kind of orangey shade. I'm gonna just softly press it here so we still have that. Oh, gorgeous. Okay. Next, let's see, I don't think I'm done on top. I want to do a little bit more. Next, I'm going to go in with, what should we do? So many decisions. I'm going to go in with this shade right here, E5, and I'm going to darken up that outer corner. Now, I'm going to use a pencil brush to apply this because I really want to keep the concentration of that color right out here. I don't want it to go over too far. So I'm going to take my BK Beauty 207 brush. I loaded up the brush, but I am going to just kind of tap it off on my finger. This color is so dark and matte that any fallout that might happen is going to kind of mess up my concealer and my foundation, and I really don't want that to happen. So I want to make sure that I don't have excess product on my brush. Now I'm going to go in here and I'm just going to kind of create a little V, place that product there, and just kind of wiggle my brush back and forth. This is a pencil brush, so it's going to help with like precision application because it's very small and dense, but our pencil brush is a little more rounded like a dome. It's not so pointy. So even though it's a pencil brush, you can still do some fair amount of blending if you're going for this look, meaning you want it to be very controlled and, you know, you don't want it to be too blended out is what I'm trying to say. So you want to just kind of place it there and then gently kind of work it back and forth. So pretty. I'm gonna do the other side. Okay, now I'm just gonna kind of look in the mirror and compare the two sides, even them out. I am gonna go out with my 202 blending brush to really blend these out, but I'm kind of doing most of the work first with the 207. Then I'm gonna take my blending brush and we're just gonna softly kind of run the tip over the edges of that darkest shade. Okay, to highlight under the brow, I'm gonna go in with this shade right here. It's A01, and this is extremely stark white, so I'm a little nervous about how that's gonna translate on the skin. So I'm gonna take a fluffier brush to apply it. This is the BK Beauty 206, and you can see that it's a shader brush, but it's got a lot more fluff to it. It's not as like small and dense as the 203, so it's basically going to apply product in a much more sheer and lighter manner. So I'm just gonna barely tap this A01, and we're gonna see, hope it's not too white. Ooh, that's pretty white. Okay, so I'm gonna just make sure I don't apply too much because I don't want a white under eyebrow highlight. I just want it to be a little brighter. Perfect. For my lower lash line, I'm gonna first line my eyes with the Color Chameleon Eye Crayon by Charlotte Tilbury in the shade Amber Haze. This color works so perfectly with this palette because it's a like bronze coppery shade. I've been loving this pencil. You guys see me use it all the time. So I'm gonna layer this down first, but I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna add a bright, bold, like shimmery purple there. This is kind of working more as a primer for the shadow that I'm gonna use. And I'm gonna go in, what do I wanna do? I kind of wanna go in with this shade right here, E3. It's this really beautiful, beautiful foiled, ooh, look at that, so pretty, pinkish purple shade, so gorgeous. We're gonna go in with that with the BK Beauty 204 brush, and we're gonna kind of layer it onto that eyeliner. And I'm gonna bring it all the way from the outer corner to the inner corner. Copper and purples are so beautiful. Next, I'm gonna go and tightline my eye and add a little black liquid liner. I am gonna pop on a little bit of lash. This is the Sephora Collection Fringe 04 lashes. And this is the finished look. I really love the way that it turned out. It's incorporating color, some of the fun purples in the palette, but I think it's still wearing it in a pretty neutral, wearable way for those of us that typically lean more neutrals on the everyday. It is definitely more of a bold palette. This isn't gonna be for someone that just wears neutrals and doesn't like to wear color, because while it does have some neutrals, the neutrals are really there to complement and work and play with the brighter, bolder colors. This is not a neutral palette with a pop of color. This is a pop of color palette with a pop of neutral. Or this is a color palette with a pop of neutral, if you know what I'm saying. But I wanted to show you guys that you can still wear color. My favorite way to wear color is to pair it with a neutral on the lid, line the lower lash line with a bit of color, but it just gives you that extra oomph in your makeup look. So I really love the way this came out. I'll have all the products and shade names that I use listed and linked in the description box below. So if you want to recreate this look, you can have a little map or guide in the description box to follow. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something new. I also will have lip products listed in the description box so I don't forget when I'm editing this video. The products that I have on the lips are the Persona Lip Pencil in the shade Rosewood, topped with Lawless lipstick in the shade Wedding Day, and then I have Deep Realm NARS Lip Shine on top of it, and it gives you that really peachy, super glossy look. All right, you guys, thanks for watching. I hope to see you guys in my next video. As always, have a fantastic day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.